Hello, what does it take to be a technician in this company? To answer this, I will need to tell the story of how I came to be here today. This story is about how this Englishman became a Paisa company technician in China and feeling that I am finally doing what I aspire to. And also, why do I dedicate my life to this work so far from home? I met this company in 2010 when I was having many severe personal difficulties and unsure if my career as a psychotherapist and family constellation facilitator was really helping people to change or even making things worse for clients. Even though I was becoming more famous, a master, it was ironic that I was suffering mentally and physically. I was a master with personal problems, and I could see that other masters around me were also suffering with heart problems, cancer, depression, and suicide. These masters were practicing Qigong, psychology, and family constellations. I was a master who could not heal myself. I really needed help. Through fate, I came into contact with David D. I became a client of this company because I needed help with my issues. This company helped me understand that it was my character traits that were causing the problems in my life. These traits included anxiety, pride, aggression, anger, negativity, depression, selfishness, and more. However, fortunately, I was born with one trait that probably saved me and continues to help me. This trait is curiosity. Curiosity about life, directly ask why something happens, about how life works and why humans, including myself, struggle to find health, beauty, and happiness. It seems that people who only want to get a result cannot really change. God is not about the end result, but is more about our curiosity about knowing why we are the way we are and how do we change to the way we want to be, and mostly about finding the truth about how life works. So, fortunately, I had long email exchanges with David D. about how life works, and through seeking his understanding, it attracted me like a magnet to come to Hong Kong and later to China. I could not resist it. But at first, I was so skeptical about this company, so stubborn, even though very quickly their products helped to lift my mood and give me more energy, even though my pain started to disappear. I did not fully trust them. I thought surely their products must be drugs. But David showed me in detail that their products were not drugs, because everything they do is based on a thorough understanding of how life works, what drives our lives, and this understanding seems to be the only way we can truly change. Understanding is the key. I came to this company as a client, as all staff members of this company did. I did not come to train as a technician, but through the understanding and changes that I experienced here, which we call self-attunement, I was able to become a technician. Our technicians require many years of training. For myself, I have been training for 10 years. This is longer than for most doctors, and in a way, it is harder than becoming a doctor. But why would I say that? To understand this, we should first explain what happens when a technician performs quantum phase reprogramming, because in this treatment, the technician touches the client. For example, many people like to receive massages. Several of my friends overseas were massage therapists. And these friends usually had quite short careers, as after a few years, they would suffer terribly, maybe first with tiredness and a foggy head, then with intense fatigue, and also joint pains, even sometimes swollen and deformed hands. And some of these friends even became depressed or suicidal. The clients of these massage therapists can also be affected in very similar ways, due to the exchanges of information between the massage therapist and the client. These exchanges are invisible, but this is actually what is going on. From our understanding, these massage therapists and their clients have in fact absorbed some of each other's illnesses. personality traits, and this, in turn, is what affects their life and their health. To explain this in more detail, when two people meet, such as when you meet a friend, even if nothing is said with your friend, there is always some exchange of information. This information is actually invisible electronic data, which we call consciousness. This exchange is a merging of the electronic structures of the two people. And if you also touch your friend, the exchange is even more intense. Technically, it can be called electromagnetic wave resonance. From our company's research, for all people, our faces and our physiques, whether we have illness or disease, and our personalities are governed by our DNA. When our DNA emits fear, and because of this fear, we become aggressive, or we want to win because we are afraid of losing out, and when we use aggression to get what we want, our appearance would reflect these character traits. Our appearance would most likely not be very appealing or pleasant. Our facial structure could be wide, and we could have poor skin complexion. We probably would not be very good looking. So, to change our appearance, we must first change from within, meaning change the way we think, and how we treat people, and how we react to situations, whether we react with love, understanding, and kindness, or would we look at things in a purely practical way, often thinking about how we could take advantage of people or situations, maybe trying to make more money or do more business. If a person has a lot of greed, they will have the appearance due to that greed. If a person has a lot of anger, their appearance will have a lot of anger. So, if we want to help a person to improve their facial appearance, the Quantum Face Reprogramming Technician must take a person's DNA structure or the character traits that are emitting from their face and reprogram those character traits. How do we reprogram them? Basically, it is to make the person more kind, less fearful, less aggressive, less ruthless, and less angry, and also to have more universal love for everything that comes into their life. So, in order for a technician to change someone's personality and in turn improve their beauty, the technician has to be trained. And they must be able to adjust their own personality before the technician has a code or a program to be able to positively change the structure of another person. First of all, this technician must have a very strong understanding of the workings of life and this company's theories, and this can take a long time to acquire. Plus, they must be able to apply this understanding to change their own weaknesses. Applying this understanding through many years of practicing, trying, failing, trying again, learning, applying, and trying again. So, a technician's experience, my own experience, is mainly not from doing reprogramming on others, but through working on myself, and slowly, step by step, the effect can accumulate. We cannot change our character in just 1 to 2 years. There is a Chinese saying, rivers and mountains can easily be changed. One's character is more difficult to change. It is like this. It takes time and persistence and having a vision of how you want to be in your life, of how you truly want to treat people. So, I had to be trained by this company, firstly in multispectral viewing, to be able to observe how my genetic structure was changing. Secondly, the company also regularly checks to see if I am progressing with my own character traits. Am I becoming less angry, less greedy, less selfish, kinder, more considerate, and wholeheartedly trying to understand others? Also, I had to undergo a lot of training, including methods of multispectral viewing, to identify the parts of the face and their various personality traits, so I could be guided which parts should be reprogrammed. All this company technology, these methods, we use in my own training, my own change, and as our team members underwent this training, we develop new methods, such as quantum phase reprogramming, where through a technician's change electromagnetic field, we can affect another person using the theory of magnetism to change the qualities of the other person's electromagnetic field. This is how quantum phase reprogramming was invented. Now, in our quantum phase reprogramming service that this company offers, the technician will magnetize or alter the data structure of the client, the thinking patterns of the client, which can change the way the client treats people, the way they experience life, and then with less anger, less greed, less fear, and in turn more kindness, the client's appearance can change. So the technician has a duty, a responsibility to continuously improve themselves, improve their traits from their original character. The training program in this company, therefore, is very stringent, because if we are not ready, we can easily transfer our negativities, our fears to our clients. If we use the comparison with doctors once more, the tasks of doctors are more technical, maybe performing surgery or recommending medication. For our company's technician, it is more about psychology, about emotion, about our values, what we aspire to, and what we pursue in life. And this is very difficult. It is similar to be an artist, but in this case, not to paint a picture, but it is the art of sculpting the inner qualities of people, about acquiring new insights, new richness of emotions, passion and compassion gained from the entire process of going through life struggles, experiences and sufferings, which are the keys to health and beauty. So, not everyone can be a technician. From maybe 100 people, we can only choose a handful. Our engineers identify who can be a suitable technician. Now, after 10 years of improvements to my health, my happiness, and with a persistence to continue to learn and change, I am so happy to be with you today and share this story. Thank you for listening.